Hey Morgan, when you've got new guys in the top four, I'm curious as to what kind of adjustments you have to make from a front pair situation there.
Yeah, there's really no adjustment. I think that's the point of a team sport. When you have guys go down, you got guys that are supposed to come up and take that responsibility, play minutes, and play against good competition. And I mean, that's the whole point. So there's really no adjustment. Everybody's just trying to do what they can to help contribute when you're missing guys. But I mean, you expect the group to operate like normal.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll go to Lance Hornby, Toronto Sun. Go ahead, Lance.
Hey, Morgan. Indications are Dahlstrom might be in. How do you feel about that? And is it on the defenseman now to maybe pick up a little Swedish, since you guys seem to have a whole bunch of those guys on your team now?
Yeah, we do. It's great. I think, they all really get along, obviously. And I think they're, a big part of our team. Obviously lots of young talent there. So, they're going to be here for a while. So I think it's good. And I mean, they feel comfortable, I think, with the group and with each other. So it's good. And I think in terms of the lineup, I don't know what's going to go on, but like my previous comment, I think the expectation is that you got guys that can, take the extra responsibility, play minutes and do a job. And I don't think a lot changes in terms of our approach or our mindset. You just go out there, you play within the structure, and you just keep rolling.
I'm not sure if you heard that Mike Stothers, owing to Dallas Eakins coming down to the COVID protocol, is going to be coaching tonight for Anaheim. Not probably the way he wanted it, but how do you feel about Mike getting a shot like that?
So Mike's the head coach tonight?
Just for tonight, I believe.
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, I used to talk about him all the time, obviously from playing with him in junior, but I think very, very highly of Mike. I think he's extremely deserving of that opportunity. I mean, to your point, it's probably not ideal in terms of how he planned it, but I think he's a great human being, great coach. I like the way that he operates. So I'm extremely happy for him, and I might tune in and check that game out, cheer for them tonight just because of him, and who knows, maybe watch the post-game media stuff. So just to hear if he has anything to say.
Thank you.
Next up,
Thank you.
Kevin McGran, Toronto Star. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Morgan, just a couple for you here. Can you speak a little bit about Mitch and maybe the energy that he brings to the room that you might have missed while he was off with injury and off with COVID?
Yeah, I think he brings a lot of energy. He's a very popular teammate in our room. He's a guy who's extremely passionate about his job, and he comes in and he's always talking. He's always working. He's always in the gym and stuff. So he's around a lot, and I think guys get used to that. And he's a voice that you hear a lot. So I think when he's around and when he's feeling good, it's extremely contagious, and it's great having him back in and around the team and obviously playing well.
And the second question, just about the team in general, like you seem to hit a little bit of a rough patch here. What is it that you think that you got to do to get out of it?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if you look back at our last, 4 or 5 games, there's been some issues in some areas of our game that we have to clean up. And I think in terms of what we need to do to get out of it, honestly, I think it just comes from, hard work and playing within the structure, having confidence. And I think if you look back at the goals that we've had against, it just comes from breakdowns in D zone. And I think that the D core has to take some responsibility in terms of, trying to protect our net, keeping guys off our goalie. And then, just work from there out. And, I think that there's some areas to clean up, but we're extremely confident that, we're able to handle that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll take 2 more here. We'll go to Mark Masters, TSN. Go ahead, Mark.
Morgan, Sheldon said that the team played soft and purposeless on Wednesday in New York. What do you make of that? And does that kind of line up what you were seeing and feeling in that game?
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong. I think as a group, we have to do more in D zone, and I think we have to protect our goalie a bit more and protect our net front. I think again, not to be a broken record, but if you look back at the goals that we gave up, they're kind of D zone issues that were allowing too much traffic at our net, and we're exposing our net too much. So I think as a decor, like I said earlier, you have to take some responsibility and be harder to play against.
I know you guys are all kind of self-starters and motivated on your own, but when the coach uses language like that, how do you process that as a player? And do you feel like it resonates in the room?
To be honest, I hadn't heard that yet. So I don't think players, put too much merit into what happens in post-game media. And so I think it's just a matter of I mean, that being the honest answer. I don't think we played, a real hard game. It's, especially in the third, but as players, you're not really too worried about what's going on in terms of post-game comments, to be honest with you.
Next up, we'll go to Jonas Siegel with The Athletic. Go ahead, Jonas.
Hey, Morgan, I'm just wondering if you remember what it was like early in your career when you went from, third pair to playing higher in the lineup and against increased competition, and what that challenge kind of brought for you.
Yeah, it's challenging. I think it kind of, I think it hits you kind of hard because you do realize that, each team has some extremely dangerous players. There's no point in the game where you get to relax and, maybe take an easy shift or go play ozone for a shift or something like that. You're always kind of, out there against high-end players that can burn you pretty much at any time. So, it's challenging, but I think that if you look at our decor, we got some guys who can take that responsibility, that can play more minutes and play against some really good players. And, that's important to our depth. And, we're going to need that moving forward if we expect to have any, type of run here.
And the last one here, we'll go to Chris Cuthbert, Sportsnet. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Morgan, since defense is the topic of the day, I noted you're just over 1,000 games behind Chara on the all-time list. He's going to be number one in the next month or so. Just your thoughts on the longevity and what he means at your position.
Yeah, he's obviously a big, a big role player. If you look back at that, at playing defense in the last 20 years, I think he's a guy that, will come up in conversation. For a big man, he moves well. He's got a good stick. He can think the game. And, I hope he's able to keep healthy and keep playing, because what he's been able to do is pretty special. And, I think as a player, you start to appreciate that kind of milestone in terms of games played more and more. And I think he's a prime example of a guy who puts in lots of time, works hard, and is a good teammate. So, hopefully he can get there, and hopefully he can just keep healthy and keep playing well.
Do you have 1,100 more games in you?
Oh, we'll wait and see. That's the plan anyway, but there's some work to be done. Still, it's not that easy. And, again, as a player, you start to appreciate when guys are able to hit those milestones. So hopefully he's able to stay healthy. Hopefully everybody is, and just keep going.